first one we'll talk about is the sense of sound. So honing in on the senses and understanding that everything we do in Montessori, especially in the primary years, starts with the senses.
That's right.
We are really going to start in teaching reading with that sense of sound.
That's right.
I mean, it makes sense when you think about, like, we talk, like sounds are all around us. Babies are exposed to sounds. Children learn how to speak without even being taught anything. Maria Montessori was amazed by this herself. But not a lot of us think about refining that sense of hearing when we start thinking about teaching children to read.
But Aubrey, I wanted to teach reading, not listening.
Because when we think about teaching reading, the first sense we think about is the eyes. Because we look at a piece of text and it's like we see the letters and we think, okay, if reading is about seeing the letters and writing the letters, then we will start by teaching our children how to see the letters and name the letters. And it just it just feels like it would make sense because as adults, that's how we perceive reading to be.
Right.
But the truth is that if your child has not developed the auditory sense enough, if they haven't really refined those ears in a lot of different ways, not just thinking about the letters themselves, but like a lot of different ways, then they're going to have a lot more trouble actually with that, visual sense of looking at the letters and being able to put it together into words. So the ears really does come first. It's a crucial part of Montessori that not a whole lot of people really pay enough attention to. So it's the sounds that really come first ahead of the letters themselves. So do you want to list a few of the things that we use in our reading curriculum where it kind of illustrates this point of how a parent out there can help your child to refine their sense of sound?
Well, you're probably doing a lot of these already and you're not realizing that you're teaching your child how to read. And so part of what we want you to be aware of is that the process of learning to read is actually very complicated, but also kind of baked into a lot of our understanding. So what would those be? It'd be having conversations, talking to your little one, talking to your baby. There's no age at which it's too young to start having conversations. And I don't have to tell most of you that, but it's good actually. If someone is like, "Why are you talking to your baby?" You would say, "I'm teaching him how to read," because having conversation at a very early age is critical. You're probably already doing it. You just didn't realize that this was laying the groundwork. Other things that you might do are playing rhyming games, singing rhyming songs, playing a listening game, playing an I Spy sound game, reading books aloud, having conversation back and forth, like having your child tell you things and then you repeat them back. Anything that's engaging the sense of sound, not trying to associate to the representation of the sound in the form of a letter, just getting them familiar with the sounds and being able to discern the various different phonemes in, let's say, English, if we're teaching English, right? Getting them to start to distinguish amongst all of those different sounds really is the first. Because you said at the beginning, like a lot of us think that reading happens in the eyes, but actually we all probably know that reading happens in the brain, right?
Right.
So this is a super abstract thing. You can't really touch it. But anything that you can tactily interact with can be learned. That's why we start with the senses with the little guys, because they aren't able to access in an abstract way the mental thinking. That's going to come later in their development. But if you can start to get them to realize in a sensorial way that the world is made of all these sounds, and then start to connect those sounds to a shape, which we would call a letter, then the magic starts to unfold. But it all starts with that training the ear to hear a variety of sounds.
That's right. I'm also thinking, I don't know if you mentioned this. Did you mention the sound cylinders?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that actually is a really good example. That's actually not in the reading curriculum itself. It's in our sensorial subject area. maybe if you are familiar with Montessori primary at all, you're familiar with the sensorial subject category. The sound cylinders are, we even have a video out there on sound cylinders, so you could just do it. I think, does YouTube have a search bar where they can go and search for a child with a red with video on sound cylinders? Yes, definitely go do that because they're very, very cool. And they really illustrate how we are refining not just like the sounds that we use to make words with, but just sounds in general.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah, the
so
discernment of the
essentially, like you're shaking one cylinder or container with one sound, and you're shaking another, and you're listening like, is this the same sound as this? Is this louder or softer?
That's right.
And those kinds of activities, not just in the reading curriculum, but like throughout the Montessori curriculum that have to do with your child listening, is going to help refine the ears.
Yeah, it makes me think of because I know songs are part of that too. And so with the sound cylinders, yeah, there's matching, there's ordering, there's all kinds of different activities you might do, lessons you would do with the sound cylinders. But I was thinking of the song John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Okay.
You know that song?
Yes.
So do you remember how that song goes? Jingleheimer Schmidt, that's my name too. Wherever people go, they always shout, there goes John Jingleheimer Schmidt, la 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 la.
Okay.
And then you go quiet.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Right, so
there are lots of songs that use that same technique, and they're all really passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, camp songs, right? Or whatever, folk songs. Right, and it's the reason it connected the dots is that is kind of what you're also doing with the sound cylinders. You're just isolating that particular sense. Because of the sound cylinders, you're going to have a variety of louder or softer or bigger, crunchier, and more delicate sounds, right? And playing those games, it's not like the John Jingle song or any of those other games where you modulate your voice up or down, or you make a silly voice, or you make whatever, you do funny things. It is fun, but it's about hearing it, and you're getting the kids to listen to it and match what they're hearing. So if you're playing song games like that with your kids, just in the car, or to pass the time, or to keep them entertained while you're cooking, you're actually laying a foundation for reading. This is a part of the process of teaching reading.
I'm gonna give you another one.
Okay.
Do you know the song Willoughby Wallaby Woo?
A little bit.
Do you remember that one? It goes, Willoughby Wallaby Woo, an elephant sat on you. Willoughby Wallaby, wave it. An elephant sat on David.
That sounds like that's like Down by the Bay, right?
No.
I mean in the way, in the sense that Down by the Bay, you see something funny, and then like, did you ever see a blah?
Okay,
blah, blah,
I know
blah.
that one, but it's a different, like, there's a different purpose.
Okay.
Oh, let's talk about what is the purpose of this song.
Okay, let's do that.
So we'll sing it again. Willoughby Wallaby Woo.
Oh, I got you.
An elephant sat on you, meaning me. Willoughby Wallaby Wobbly. An elephant sat on Aubrey.
Yeah, right. Great point.
What's happening there?
You're getting them there's a rhyming component. You're also getting them to hear the word Wobbery and Aubrey, and distinguishing.
Yeah, Wobbery and Aubrey technically rhyme. So in that sense, it is similar to the Down by the Bay song, because that's also a rhyming song. But
this one I like.
With this one,
you're a good example. I like this Wobbery, like so, and it could get harder or easier based on the sound of that first consonant. So there's a whole series of lessons in the reading curriculum that focus on that first sound.
Right, the initial sound. So we're talking about changing Aubrey into Wobbery changes the initial sound of my name. And same with David. Instead of David with the D, I took out the D, I replaced it with the W, and that's how we got Wavid. And before you're teaching your kids any of this, like spelling wise or anything, they're just hearing it. They're hearing the difference between Wavid and David, and it sounds funny, right? And it sounds even funnier because you've got an elephant sitting on you.
Yeah, and the kids love the silliness of
and
the
that's
games.
not necessarily like a Montessori game itself. Wasn't created by Maria Montessori. I think it was created by Raffi, or did Raffi just just
Wallaby Wallaby
popularize
Woo.
it? I don't know.
I mean, they're old folk songs. I don't know if he wrote
I
it,
don't
but
know
there's
if
a
Raffi
million
ever, I don't
variations,
know
right?
if Raffi wrote it or not. Or I remember it from Sharon Lewis and Bram. You know, I don't know if you remember
Sure.
them from
Yeah.
back in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Had a lot of those on cassette tape. But a lot of those types of songs exist and are out there and are fully compatible with the Montessori approach because they are teaching your child to refine their sense of sound. And that's really what we're doing, what we're emphasizing in this first really principle of
Mm-hmm.
how to teach reading the Montessori way, is not to rush the stage.
Yeah.
It's so easy to think, I got to teach reading, or my child can do so much. My little 2-year-old is so interested in the whole wide world. Why not go ahead and teach reading? Here's some sandpaper letters and a movable alphabet. Let's go.
Yeah, here's your board book. Now you got it, right?
Whatever it is, you know, try to resist. If you got a little one, try and resist rushing the stage, because the more you do on the front end to develop the ears, the better the gain is going to be later on.
Totally.
And this is to say, like, we are not an age prescriptive curriculum.
Nope.
Like, we have leveled all of the activities 1
Yep.
through 6. I've got 1 through 3 here and another 4 through 6
Mm-hmm.
over here. The reading curriculum goes all the way from levels 1 through 6.
Roughly ages 2 to 9, but not strictly level 1 is age 2 or pre-K or something like that. It's following your child's developmental readiness.
So, really, parents, they know their kids the best. Like, you really do. There's a lot of people out there who will kind of try to sway you that you need someone, and I'll speak from this. I'll say, like, I have a degree in education, a master's in education, and a specialization in teaching reading, right? But I will tell you, like, your child's level and ability the very best, and all you need access to is the method and the curriculum, and then you can implement it. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to be a great teacher of your own child, teaching them reading. So if there is a gut instinct in you that says, like, oh, wow, like, my child's auditory skills are very well developed, then let's move on. Let's introduce those sandpaper letters. You know your child. But if your child is just like still trying to put together rhyming words and, is still trying to hear the difference between Wavid and David and identify what's different between them, then to stay longer in this stage.
And that is perfectly fine.
It's perfectly fine, yeah.
All right, so the first...
Not just fine, it's like what we want.
True,
like, stay
exactly.
there.